This is Laura Duncan from CSMS. We'll be writing equations of lines thus equal. In the last video, we talked about writing equations in slope-intercept or point-slope forms. Today, we'll learn standard form. First of all, standard form is written ax plus by equals c. So the rules are that a, b, and c are integers. That means no fractions, no decimals. Traditionally, the ax term is positive, so remember to keep your a positive. If you're given an equation where there are no fractions nor decimals, you'll add or subtract to get the x and y on the same side, as you can see, and the number term on the opposite side. However, sometimes you'll have fractions. If there are fractions, you'll multiply each term of the equation by the LCD. That is the least common denominator. If there's a 2 in one denominator and a 4 in the other denominator, then the LCD of these denominators would be 4. You'll multiply by the LCD, and then you'll continue what you did up here, which is add or subtract the x or y to get them on the same side, and the number term on the opposite side. However, if there are decimals, you'll multiply each term in the equation by 10 or a power of 10 in order to have a whole number in your equation. No decimals, no fractions. Then you'll continue adding or subtracting with the x and y just as you did up here, as if there were no fractions or decimal, and the term c on the opposite side. Let's take some time to practice this. We'll begin by writing each equation in slope-intercept form and then use that to change the equation to standard form. Let's look at what they've given us. First, we have 2 points. To write it in slope-intercept form, we need an m and we need a b, but we don't have an m and we don't have a b. So where we're going to start is we're going to start with our slope. How will we find the slope? Well, when we were finding the slope previously, we used an equation. So let's use that equation. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's substitute our numbers. y2 is -6, y is -3, or y1 is -3. Then we have our x2 is 3 minus x1, which is 4. Once we simplify this, we see that our slope is equal to 3. So we have our slope, but we don't have our b. So what do we do? Let's do what we did yesterday. Since we have a slope and we have a point, we can write it in point-slope form and then change that equation to be slope-intercept form. So let's start out. Remember that you can use either of the points given. Let's start out with our equation x minus x2. This is our point-slope equation. We're using that because we have a point and we have a slope. So I'm going to use the one highlighted in red here. So it'll be y minus y, which is -3. So minus -3 would be +3, equals our slope, which we found to be 3, times x minus x2. Notice our x is 4 in the one that I chose. And now we have it in point-slope form. You could have used the other point. It would be just as effective. Now we're going to change that to our goal, which is slope-intercept form. We'll do that by distributing. So we have 3x minus 12 equals y plus 3. We'll isolate the y by doing the opposite on each side. So we'll end up with y equals 3x minus 15. That's the slope-intercept form of the line. Now we'll take that and try to make it standard form. Our goal is ax plus by equals c. We'll begin with our slope-intercept form, y equals 3x minus 15. Now what did we say we wanted? We said we wanted the x on the same side as the y. So to do that, we will subtract 3x from each side. That way we'll have negative 3x plus y equals negative 15. Now we are almost there. The reason that we're not quite there is because of this negative. Remember, we want the a to be positive. So we will simply multiply by negative 1. Each term will be multiplied by negative 1. And by doing that, we will not change the value of the equation. So 3x minus y is equal to positive 15. Now let's go back to the standard form. Ax, that's right there, and it's positive, plus by, we have minus y, equals c, which will be a number value with no variable attached. Let's go on to number 2. Number 2, we're given 2 points. They want it in slope-intercept form. So we'll start with the slope formula. Let's substitute into our slope formula. We'll have y2 is 7 minus negative 5 over 5 minus negative 5. And we find that our slope is equal to 12/10, which will simplify to 6/5. Now we have our slope, but we don't have a y-intercept. Since we have a point and a slope, let's use point-slope form and manipulate it into slope-intercept form. You may choose either of these points. So you'll have y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. We will simply substitute the point that we choose. So y minus y1 is 7 equals the slope 6/5 open parentheses times x minus the x value that we chose, which is 5. But we're not done yet. They asked for slope-intercept form. Well, we'll give them slope-intercept form. To begin with, we'll distribute the 6/5. If you're like me, you may need a sticky note so you have enough room. So y minus 7 equals 6/5 x minus 6. We'll continue by doing the opposite. We'll add 7 to each side. So now we have y equals 6/5 x plus 1. And that is the slope-intercept form. Let's go to standard. We have our slope-intercept form, and we want to make it standard. So just as a reminder, ax plus by equals c is standard form. So we do have a fraction this time. We're going to multiply each term by the least common denominator. Well, there's only one denominator, and that is the 5. So we'll multiply each term by 5. So we have 5y equals 6x plus 5. Now that we've done that, we'll make sure that our x is on the same side as our y. So we'll do the opposite so that they can be on the same side. Now we have negative 6x plus 5y equals 5. However, we want our ax to be positive, so we'll multiply each term by negative 1 because we want this 6 to be a positive 6. The opposite of positive 5 is negative 5, and again. This is standard form. Let's move on to number 3. Please try number 3 on your own. Pause the video here. Please notice before you go on that if you use the first number in your point-slope equation, it will be y minus 5 equals 1/2 times, open parentheses, x plus 2. If you use this point, it would be y minus 8 equals 1/2, open parentheses, times x minus 4. Now let's isolate the y so that we will have slope-intercept form. So we'll isolate the y by distributing. So let's start off with y minus 5 equals, that'd be 1/2 x plus 1. Now we'll isolate the y by doing the opposite. So final answer is y equals 1/2 x plus 6. Please pause the video again here and try writing the standard form on your own. All right, please be detail-oriented as you check your work. Make sure you're looking for each sign. The coefficient in front of the x should be positive. It's minus 2y equals negative 12. Now let's go on to the next one. Oh, number 4, what have they done? They changed everything, but not really. What they've given us are 2 points. You just have to recognize that they are 2 points. We have a y-intercept, so that's the point 0, negative 3. And we have an x-intercept. That's the point 7, 0. So we have 2 points. What do we need for slope-intercept? Well, we need an m first, so let's do the m and the b. So the slope is found by doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you like, go back and label your points. So we'll have 0 minus negative 3 over 7 minus 0. And we end up with a slope of 3/7. Now remember, in slope-intercept form, what do we need? We need an m and we need a b. Well, the b is the y-intercept. So if you are thinking very, very efficiently, then we will not write this one in point-slope form. We'll go straight to the source. Y equals mx plus b, where our m is 3/7 and our b is negative 3. And there you have it. Let's move on to standard form. We'll begin with our slope-intercept form. Y equals 3/7 x minus 3. And please keep in mind our goal. Our goal is standard form. So I'm going to rewrite standard form at the top. And first we look for fractions and decimals. This one has a fraction, and we will multiply each term by the least common denominator, which is 7. So we'll have 7y equals 3x minus 21. Now we want both the x and the y on the same side. So we'll do the opposite, and we'll end up with negative 3x plus 7y equals negative 21. Remember that we want our a term positive, so we'll multiply each term by a negative 1. And that is your final answer. Now on number 5, it makes me happy. Why? Because it's a horizontal line. When you see a horizontal line, I want you to think of the word hoi. That's not the answer, but it's a horizontal line. It will have a 0 slope, and it will be a y equals equation. So I know the slope-intercept form is going to be a y equals. Well, what does y equal? Look over here. Y equals 6. Easy as that. That is it. Now in standard form, let's do the same. Y will equal to 6. On number 6, we have another special case. It's a vertical line. So vertical line, think Vux. It's a vertical line with undefined slope, and it will be an x equal equation. So what does x equal? Well, x equals 5. That's the equation. What is that going to be like in standard form? We're just going to do the same thing. X equals 5. That's your equations. We love you, special cases. And the lesson is yours.